Okay, here we go. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I just want you to meet Elliott Higginson of Elliott Higginson Architectural Services. And Elliot, please tell me in your own words, what do you do and how long you've been doing it for?
Thank you, Charles. So my name's Elliot. I started a architectural service business about a year and a half ago because basically I found that there was a bit of a gap in the market through Cornwall for a service business offering all of the architectural needs. So we kind of set out to kind of provide not only the building regs and the planning, but also to provide the structure engineering, 3D renders, interior design, all in one package. So people can come to us, they can get all of the services in one place. That's basically the crux of the business and why we got started.
Wow, that's great. And it's good that you can provide a service for all elements, when it comes to design. And that's a wonderful thing to have. I think is that more of a niche there. You said that's something
there obviously there's a lot of architectural firms around Cornwall, but there's not many that offer all of the services under one roof. So I mean, that with the structure engineering is one big one, as well as interior design and 3D renders as well.
Yeah. Well, question I'll ask you about there, because you say you started about a year and a half ago, and so obviously that was just right in the middle of COVID when it was at its when it was rampant.
Yes.
How did COVID-19 itself? How did it impact your business, and what actions did you take from that?
No, that's a good question. I would say actually it was pretty fundamental to being able to start the business. The way we structure the business is potentially different to a traditional firm or traditional service business. There's the fact that we don't have an office and we don't employ people. We all work online. So being able to work online and make the most of that online work that everyone has started to do through COVID, I'll kind of utilize that and kind of found specialists that work across the UK that want extra part-time work alongside of their normal jobs within the services that we offer. So that's kind of how we work. We all work online and get the job done that way.
Yeah, great. And so you say do you like subcontract different
so we've got specialists in each industry. So we've got structure engineers, building regs, and planning specialists. Come to agreement with all of those guys that actually wants extra work as well. Obviously, they want the work, but they're not technically potentially living in Cornwall. They're really experienced guys that have years and years of knowledge. It's just such a shame to lose out on those kind of people just because we're not working alongside them or in the same town as them.
Okay.
So working online is just a great way to kind of reach all these fantastic people and bring them into the business and create this service.
Come on, that's so great. And is this something that you always wanted to do, Elliot, regards to design and architecture?
I think to be involved with any sort of architecture related business was probably where I was going. I studied and got my Part 1 degree in architecture 4 years ago. I started that 4 years ago and passed 2 years ago, something like that. So yeah, it is really something I've always been involved with. I wouldn't always think that I was going to start my own business, but here we are. It's just kind of unfolded that way. It's just been great.
Oh, great. So you just follow your dreams there, and that's wonderful.
Yeah,
great. And I was going to say, I mean, with that being said, because I hear your passion in what you do, which is really great to hear that. What I would ask is, what's really inspiring you? I mean, today, what is that driver of your passion?
I think once I found the gap in the market, I really want to create a service that people can kind of have some connection to and kind of some trust in the fact that we can provide everything for them and it's all in one place. I think at the moment, some people say you hire an architect or an architectural service or designer, you get your designs done, then they'll have to, or the customer would have to then go out and find a structure engineer, maybe get 3 or 4 quotes. So really, and then have to ask the designer to liaise with the structure engineer and backfill. I just wanted to take the stress out of it all and the hassle for the customer and just provide a one-stop service for them at an affordable price.
Right, great. And What would you say as a business owner yourself? What's been, I guess, your biggest learnings as a business owner so far?
My biggest learning, is that what
Yeah.
you said?
Mm.
I think the power is with the people, and the people that we work with, the guys that we employ. Just having that knowledge and the experience of these guys just helps us take on bigger jobs, and have the confidence that what we're doing is of a high quality. I think that would be the main learning curve, is just taking on and trying to bring in as many people as we can, industry professionals within their specific area, and trying to bring them together. I think that's the major key to the success, or how I found the most success with the business.
So all about teams, be team
All
oriented.
about teams, bringing
Yeah.
everyone together. Yeah. That's the motto. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And you say your biggest, your learnings there, and we're always learning because the world is
Always.
always evolving. What would you say has been your biggest business challenge for you as a business owner?
I think because at the moment, the biggest one would be just getting the name out there and building that brand identity, and just letting people know that we're out there and then we're a service ready to go. I think that's probably just because we're quite a new service, only been going a year and a half.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're picking up momentum every month.
Sure. And have you done anything about that, regards to getting your name out there and raising your brand awareness?
We've done some branding, some advertising, but really, ideally, you'd like to think that it would be through referrals, and good reviews, and that's hopefully the way that things will go further down the line. I think most of the business that has come in the last 6 months have been from referrals or from the good reviews from previous customers, which I think has been a massive help.
Okay. But obviously, there's more. I sense that, there's more to that, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. I mean, to be honest, I don't advertise a hell of a lot at all. It's more just making sure the website's good. I did do a lot of Google advertising at the start, just to kind of get the name out there, but I haven't done any advertising for about like 10 months or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Come on, so it's all been word of mouth then, basically.
Word of mouth. Obviously, we've been keeping up to date with social media and Instagram, just letting people know what kind of projects we're doing, just to kind of give us an update.
Yeah.
Actually reminds me, we started a newsletter 2 months ago, just to keep our existing customers up to date on our projects, and kind of other related architectural news.
Yeah, great. And let me ask you, through all this, what have you found about yourself, about Elliott Higginson, about yourself as a business owner since you've been in business yourself?
I think I like to do things fast, quite impatient a lot of the times, which can be a blessing and a curse. I think, learning to just make sure you've got all your ducks in a row before you kind of go ahead and go for it. I think that would be the main one for me, to make sure we've got everything in place before we're ready to take the next stage.
Great. And if you had to start all over again, from day one, this is what we're here. You tell me, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently?
Yeah, if you have to start all over again.
What would I do differently? I think I'd involve professionals from all of the services all at once, all at the same time, and try and get them on board. So we have this, I think at the start, the business was good, but we were offering only a certain number of services, shall we say, so planning, building, regs.
Yep.
And then as we've grown, obviously adding on all of the other services that we have is just being able to let us reach more customers and just be a more versatile business for different needs for people.
Yep.
That's what I would do differently, is involve more industry professionals that can help assist the business at the start. That's what I would do. That's
what you do. Okay, great. And what advice would you give to an 18-year-old who's just starting a business? It's like, great, what advice would you give them?
My biggest one, I think I've learned, it's not what you know, it's who you know. I think probably sounding similar to the last response, but generally that's been my thing. I feel like I learn that over and over again every month. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and who you can kind of work with to help benefit everyone.
Yeah, yeah, great. And one thing one question I think is always, I think, is on people's tongues, like what the world's evolving at the moment and how things are going with all the crisis and everything that's going around. And obviously you can't control what's going on in the world, but you can control what you can do.
Yeah.
What would be the thing that you will try to control? Like, or it could be several things you like control, and not to be at the mercy of what's going on in this world today.
That was probably one of my main concerns when I first started the business, is all these outflows, high costs, how are we going to kind of fund it and how are we going to keep it going? So I think the mantra at the start was to keep outflows low, and that was paired very well with taking on guys that work online, to coming together. So we have low outflows, which really gives us adaptability, whether the housing prices hits tomorrow or in a month's time. Because we don't have many outflows, we're quite versatile in that aspect, and our risk is low. The business risk from starting it was always trying to minimize the risk at the start and keep it that way.
That is really good to hear that, and I think, loads of businesses would just benefit from just hearing you saying that. And I also say, hey, thank you very much. I mean, this really concludes the interview, but